Here's how you can have real jiu-jitsu longevity. So if you want to train jiu-jitsu well into your 60s and beyond, I have some great information for you here. I have 7 points that we'll cover that'll help you do that. So why should you listen to me? Well, I'm 63 years old. I've been training jiu-jitsu regularly for over 27 years. I'm very successful at jiu-jitsu. I'm a black belt, 7-time ibjjf Masters World Champion, blah, blah, blah. I have an academy for over 20 years. I have a lot of successful students. I got older students that train with me. So I have some good advice for you here. So I'm going to start with the physical things you need, and then I'm going to end up with something that you probably don't want to hear, but you should take it as great advice. So here's the first thing. You need to do some prehab. So not rehab, prehab, specifically, first of all, on your knees. So your knees are going to take a lot of stress in jiu-jitsu, and if you injure your knee and you go to rehab and they do some work on it and you're able to come back, that's great. But you can't wait until you get injured. You have to build into your weekly schedule some prehab for your knees. So I do about 3 times a week. I do some things, and you could spend maybe as little as 15 minutes. I think it's better to be consistent and working 3 times a week, spending a small amount of time, than doing some elaborate program where you might not do it consistently. So consistency is key. So I would base this program on something that the knees over toes guy would show you. So he has a program called ATG. You can find him on YouTube, social media, knees over toes guy. And he has a great program. The general theme is we want to strengthen the area around our knee. We want to improve our mobility, improve our strength gradually over time. You never want to do anything that's going to give you acute pain or discomfort. So my basic plan is I start with dragging a sled backwards. So when you're dragging a sled backwards, it really hits that area right around your knees and gets some good blood flow in there, strengthens everything right around your knees. I also do some calf work. I also do some tibialis work. Tibialis is the muscles on your shin bones, the muscles that are opposite your calves. So you want to hit all the muscles around the knee, the muscles below it, tibialis and calf, and the muscles above it, the quads and the hamstrings. So you want to have a simple program that you can hit Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what I do. And if I hit that week after week, my knees feel great. So that's the first thing you really want to have down. Now, another thing you want to have down is prehab for your shoulders. So similar idea. I might spend less time on this, but I still want to hit it maybe 3 times a week. You could do it the same days, or if you have the schedule, you could do it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. And the main thing that you're going to need for your shoulder prehab is external rotation. So you could do something as simple as sitting with a dumbbell, a light dumbbell, and just getting this external rotation for reps. This is the best exercise for your shoulders. And if you check out that knees over toes program, or you could find some other programs out there that are going to help you keep your shoulders mobile and strong. That external rotation seems to be particularly important because in our sport of jiu-jitsu, we're often so much curled forward like this, with our shoulders rolled forward, and the way we drive and we do so much sitting, that getting the upper back and the back of your shoulders, getting that to work routinely is just going to make your shoulders feel so much better. So you need knee prehab, shoulder prehab. You also need mobility work. So I would say, if you're limited for time, focus your mobility on your spine and your hips. So the main movements I use for my spine and my hips are something called a Jefferson curl. It's basically you're standing with your legs straight and you're bending your spine, starting at the chin and bending all the way down, and touch your hands to the floor if you can, or go as low as you can, and then come back. Just reverse that motion and come all the way back up. You can do that for 10 reps. You can figure out whatever's going to work for you, but if you do that regularly, it's going to help your spine a lot. And for your hips, you want to do some kind of pigeon pose so you're getting your hips. So, some of us are naturally mobile, some aren't. What I found is, even if you're not naturally mobile, if you work on it consistently, you can make improvements. And you should probably work on this almost every day, your mobility. So you keep that range of motion in your body. So knee prehab, shoulder prehab, mobility is super important. As far as, that's all physical things you're doing, but now you have to recover from that as well. So you have to find methods of recovery that are going to work best for you. So sleep, of course, is very important. So you want to make sure you're getting enough sleep. I also use something called Katsu. So Katsu is a device that uses blood flow restriction. So if I ever tweak anything, I have a product that I have bands for my arms, and I also have bands for my legs, for my thighs. So if my knee feels a little wonky, I'll put on my Katsu maybe for 20 minutes and see what happens. If my elbow feels a little sore, maybe I'll do the arm ones. It's not something I do every day, not something I do necessarily every week, but I have it available in case I tweak something that's going to help me recover. I also started using recently red light therapy. So I purchased a pretty inexpensive red light device. I think it was like $200, and one of the pieces is like a mat that's like maybe 18 inches by 12 inches or something, and you can wrap it around your elbow or your knee and use it for 30 to 60 minutes, whatever works for you. But I've gotten good results from that as well. I feel really good about that. So sleep is important, red light therapy, Katsu device. Sometimes I'll use a massage gun if my muscles feel particularly tight, but all of these different modalities can be useful for you, but you got to find what you like and what's going to work for you so you can recover and stay healthy and stay on the mat. So we have knee prehab, shoulder prehab. We have mobility. We have number 4 is recovery. You want to have proper recovery. And another thing I just started doing a few months ago is isometrics. So I find most people that I train with in jiu-jitsu are pretty strong to begin with. And if they get a little bit stronger off the mat, if they add a few pounds to their bench press or their squat, I can't tell if it moves the needle on the mat for them at all. And what you really want to avoid when you're off the jiu-jitsu mat, again, is not injuring yourself. So what I started doing is isometrics, because apparently isometrics is going to help strengthen your tendons and has a lower risk of injuring yourself when you're off the mat. So when I'm working on my shoulders, I might do a little tendon work for my upper body, for my shoulders and arms on those days. When I'm working my knee prehab, I'll throw a few isometrics in there as well for my knees and my lower body. And I think that's probably, I'm not lifting big weights. I'm not looking to get super strong off the mat. I'm trying not to injure myself off the mat, trying to keep my knees and shoulders strong, keep decent mobility, keep my tendons strong. And I think if I do that, my muscles will be fine. So now the next piece is probably the most important piece. So this is point number 6. And this is, you really need a trusted community to train in. So what do I mean by trusted community? Well, a place where people are focused on their skill development and enjoying their practice. If you have skill development as your priority, you're going to enjoy your practice because you're going to make small gains on a regular basis, and it's going to make you feel satisfied. It's going to make you feel happy about your training. So you have to be focused on that, and you want to be in a room full of other people who have that as their primary focus. Not a focus of getting the next belt, not the focus of maybe they're a higher rank than you are. Really has to be dialed into skill development. This is going to give you the most satisfaction, and it's going to help you develop your skill the most. So when you're training for this skill development in the gym, you're going to have your wins and your losses. And if everybody's looking to build skill, they're not going to be keeping score. You're going to have a healthy dynamic among the players in your room. This is super important. And you need coaches that you can trust and coaches that care about you and teammates. And if you're an older athlete, you want probably other athletes who are around your age. And you want athletes who are close to your size. So anytime you scale up and you train with larger athletes, your risk of injury goes up. So as you get older, you have to be careful with that. Your one of your priorities should be not getting injured, protecting yourself. A lot of people say jiu-jitsu is really about self-defense. Well, the most fundamental self-defense thing you can do is not injure yourself. So you have to find ways to use your jiu-jitsu in a way that you're not injuring yourself. And having a trusted community is super important. Now I've saved the worst for last. So here's probably what you don't want to hear. If you really want to train for a long time in jiu-jitsu and stay healthy, you have to eat right. So you have to really minimize the amount of sugar that you're consuming. I see so many guys, older guys, and they don't really eat right. And what happens is they have a systemic inflammation. Their whole body is inflamed. And when you have that inflammation, you're more likely to injure yourself, get these soft tissue injuries. You're going to hurt your muscles. It's going to be easier to hurt them. Your joints are already going to be hurting. You're already going to have some inflammation and arthritis in your joints. So now if you injure one of your joints, and you have all this inflammation in you, it gets much harder to heal yourself and bounce back. And it really comes down to that sugar. So you have to find a way to eat so you can still enjoy yourself and minimize the sugar intake as much as possible. So if you do those 7 things, if you're training in a trusted community and you do all that prehab, and if you do that recovery right, and you have that really healthy diet, I think you can train for a long time. Here's to you.